Colette. Voila, Colette. Voila. I am getting ready to head back to my town. I'm expecting traffic, but I thought we could talk public housing. Let's talk about it. Well, there's a lot of it, even here in Washington State, and it's not so bad, but I gotta tell you, I have seen more souped up pieces of junk cars in public housing, more so than any other place, and I really don't know why. I really don't. I did see one kid today, but I suspect that most of the people on public, well, this is different because as a single parent myself, I applied for a program called Scattered Sites in Houston. Scattered Sites. And I was on the waiting list for years. When my name finally came up, they cut the funding. I kid you not. They cut the funding right when my name came up. So then, the reason why I like Scattered Sites is because you had to be working full time, and there was a home ownership program, first time homeowner program, and it was cut. Yeah, the funding for that was cut. So then I got thrown into some other kind of housing where you stay on the projects with, an amalgamation of, poor people, single mothers, those type of people. So that's where my name went on this list. And I had to give them all kinds of documents, all kinds of records, birth certificates, social, rental history, bank account statements, savings account statements, all of these things. And then they put you on a waiting list. And every so often you get a letter that says you have an appointment on such and such a day at such and such a time regarding your housing. So if you are scheduled to work like a regular person, you have to get that day off to be able to go over to the housing office to meet with those people, where they ask you questions and they take a look at you, and sometimes you have to bring your kids. At least I did. And sometimes you didn't. Immunization records, again, school records. They tell you all this stuff to bring. So you bring all that stuff, you take off from work, you take the kids out of the school, and you go for your housing meeting. So after doing that about 7 or 8 times over the period of time that you're on the wait list, which could be forever. So then all of a sudden, you get a letter that says, you've come up. This is the property that's available. This is the size of the unit. Because I had 2 boys, I only qualified for a 2-bedroom. So you go over to the property, take a look at it. They tell you what your rent will be based on, for me, because I had an income. So they tell me what portion of the rent they will take care of, and the portion of the rent that you are responsible for. So I did all of that. I went to the property, and it was a 2-bedroom townhome, upstairs and downstairs, super duper small. The stairs going upstairs in the townhome were unfinished concrete stairs. floors. There was linoleum on the floors. Very dark, very cramped, very small. Go out, whatever people are cooking, you can smell that. I went to the leasing office. She gave me the key. I looked at the apartment, the townhouse, and I decided that I would just forego that experience and go ahead on and try to find a house to rent or something. But I wasn't going to take this so-called help. So that's what I did. And I know that I made the right decision for me and for my boys, because for whatever toxic people that they came in touch with, which I'm sure they came in touch with a lot of toxic kids, because everybody didn't come from a home. A lot of the kids that they went to school with were on public housing, but this is what I didn't expect. I did not expect for my kids to befriend those very kids that were coming from the projects. I expected them to befriend kids who came from two-parent homes. Since they came from a one-parent home and a regular household, that they would try to befriend children who came from a two-parent household. I didn't think that they would go the opposite way, but they did. And so I would get notes from teachers saying, "What's up with your kid, yo?" "What's up with your kid? He's befriending children who have no future, and he does. So what is the deal?" And the deal is that my sons gravitated towards lowlifes. That's just the way it is. Lowlifes. Kids that were on their way to jail or death or a semblance of both. They did not hang around straight A students. They did not hang around kids who were super smart, but parents could not afford to send them to private school. And when I took my kids to university with me, they did so well that my professor who taught at Houston Christian University wanted to recommend them for scholarships. Scholarships to go to Houston Christian Academy, so that I wouldn't have to pay tuition and they could just be educated, because they were super, super smart. It would get them out of the environment with these rowdy, roughneck kids. And I decided not to. I decided not to put them in there. I decided not to take that help, because I knew the caliber of my kids. And the caliber of my kids is that they were not wanting to be successful. Even though they had everything that would allow them to be so, their choice was not to be that. So I felt like it was a waste of resources, the waste of an opportunity. Why put a kid who is surrounding himself with losers in a situation where he's going to be around children who are not going to be losers? That's not the type of kids that my kids like to be around. Okay? Both of my sons prefer to be in the company of losers. And even though they were smart and they were, so many people wanted to help them and stuff like that, they didn't want that. You know, they didn't want a future. They didn't want to have a life and be successful. They consistently chose to be around losers. If I did a video, and quite frankly, I did not do a video of Joseph's funeral, but had I did a video of Joseph's funeral, you would not have seen not one scientist, pre-med, no. One kid there who was in anybody's college course, even if they were majoring in football, which you can major in football in college. And not one of his friends were in that league. Not one. That's just the way it is. You know, a lot of mothers, they hem and haw and all that kind of stuff, and oh, my precious and things, but mamas know. They know when their kid ain't shit. And I gotta tell you, I had two. But like I was saying in my live from yesterday, I come from a family that should, by all accounts, be the shit. Okay? Should be. They have everything going for them. Super smart, super capable, attractive. But not successful. Only one or two each generation. And I gotta tell you, me myself, I did a little experiment. Okay, I was there with my kids. I loved on them. I took them here, took them there, festivals, a museum, Broadway, Smokey Joe's Cafe when Gladys Knight came to town, Tyler Perry plays when they were first popping off in Houston at the Coliseum, Mass every day because I worked for the Catholic Diocese. All of my college level courses at Houston Baptist University, English, history, computers, accounting, they were exposed to all of it. They were exposed to all of it. And when it came time for them to make choices in their own life, they chose scum. I didn't choose it for them. I didn't recommend it. I didn't support that. Children learn what they live. So what the hell? I took the bullet and sacrificed my own 20s, 30s, 40s to be there for my kids, to try to raise them in an appropriate way. And I was led to come to not California, but Washington, because this is a liberal state. It is a liberal state. And my kids wasn't trying to be shit. Okay? So even that way, I have been confronted with so much hostility because I work my ass off. I work my ass off. I'm out here doing shit, okay? And I've had these motherfuckers out here, and I'm sorry. It is what it is. I've had more people try to block me. I've had so-called friends trying to get me to be on housing, trying to get me to apply for senior housing. Today, I saw a commercial for senior housing in my city. It's the first time that we're going to be having that. And I think that housing, if you can't do any better, and you don't want no better for yourself, that's fine. You know, when Virgil and I broke up, he was able to get into housing, working for the county. He was in housing. He was in housing for 4 years, 5 years. I don't know where he is now, but maybe back in North Carolina, I don't know. But I'm here to tell you, grown ass man, a man by himself, with no kids. These motherfuckers gave him housing in Washington State. You can't do that shit in Texas. You may be able to get a group home, a bed for recovery, or something like that, but I doubt very seriously in a Republican state that they will give a grown, able-bodied ass man housing. No kids, no family, just woe is you, you friggin' bum. We're gonna give you housing because you don't want to sleep in a tent. Has he bettered himself? Is he now married with little kids? Did he save up and use his GI Bill to get a home for $1 because he's honorably discharged from Navy? I don't know. But that's housing for you, you know. I have never seen anybody who was able to do better for themselves coming out of a project. I mean, Jay-Z. You know, he from the Marcy Projects, right? So maybe him, but how many Jay-Z's are there? The Marcy Projects is a big place, right? How many others have made it out of the Marcy Projects? And then let me tell you, here's my example. Jay-Z could have married a girl from the Marcy Projects. He could have married a girl who was homeless, out on the streets, you know, not even in housing. But he didn't. He married a girl who didn't come from apartments, who did not come from a single parent home. You understand you understand the parallel that I'm drawing, the example that I'm giving you? Jay-Z from Marcy Projects, not college educated. He married a girl who is also not college educated, but her dad is. He's not only is he college educated, but he went to Fisk, which is a very prominent school, highly respected. That's his alma mater. That's his alma mater. That's Beyonce's father. That's who Jay-Z married. He married a Fisk alumnus daughter. That's who he married. That's who he wifed. He did not go out and marry a juvenile felon who had been homeless, shelter stuff. She grew up in no projects. She don't know nothing about no projects. Was she a debutante? No, but she wasn't no project person either. Do I think that made a difference in Jay-Z's life and will make a difference in Jay-Z's children's life? Yes. Yes. I do. I do. And that's just the facts of life. It's not something, you know, whereas with my kids, oh, you're looking down on people. Oh, you cannot help a fool, okay? And there are lots of them. And I should know because even without trying, I raised two. They aren't the only fools I know. I know a lot of fools. I know a lot of them who are in this world doing some crazy crap and expecting it to turn out all right, you know? And additionally, excuse me. Additionally, to put a fine point on it, they found the CDC workers, Mr. Cunningham, Dr. Cunningham, they found his body Tuesday, so 2 days ago. And he's been missing since February the 12th. Now, this boy went to Harvard. He went to Harvard and he couldn't find no wife. He living in a house, working for the CDC as a doctor, Harvard alumni, and he could not find one wife in this world. Married, no children, nowhere. Ain't nobody laid no babies on him. So, he's not feeling good at work. He called his mama early in the morning that day. He called and spoke to his sister. This man ain't even dating. He ain't even dating. He called his mother. She was working out, so she missed the call. When she called him back, he didn't answer. What's my point? This man is Harvard educated and he's still a dum-dum. He never thought that he needed somebody in his life that is not his mama and daddy, who is of some quality, who gives a damn about him and what he's going through in his life. He don't have nobody to share his life with. He's a grown-ass man making good money, highly educated, and he end up dead by the Chattahoochee. What the? What's the difference between him and my son Joseph? Who's gonna be at his funeral? His co-workers? His wife won't. His children won't. What's the caliber of the people that's going to be around? What are they going to be saying? Are they going to be saying what I'm saying? Like, what the hell? How did this happen? Who zigged when you should have zagged? Why was this man 35 years old, never married, and not in no relationship? How could he go all that time at Harvard and never date nobody? I'm going to tell you what I thought. I thought he would have, and that was my response when I said, well, what did his wife say? Because I expected him to have a wife, and I expected her to be white, Chinese, something. You know, something like that. Another race. Somebody that he had been going to school with all those years at Harvard, studying with. Somebody like that. That's who I expected the young man to be with. And he's 35. He's not that much older than my kid, Jonathan. And Jonathan, like I said, picked the raunchiest goddamn friends there ever were, honey. Well, shit, Joseph had him beat on that. Joseph's friends are raunchier. But Jonathan's friends aren't that much better. They just hide it better. You know, they hide it better. They are more about making it look good even if it ain't good, okay? They will do that. They will put some effort into washing their ass. This boy, if I had been fast, could have been my kid. I would have been wondering, where the hell, when are you going to get married? Who are you dating? Why haven't you brought anybody home? I would have been asking those questions. What is your damn plan? What is it that you're trying to do? The very type of verbiage that my kids hated. Oh, but they heard it. Because I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Because this here right here is looking jacked up. What's the problem? You need a seminar, a webinar, some counseling? What? Because this is weird. I know guys that are like, honey, never graduated high school, driving trucks, look like the rear axle of the truck, and they got 7 kids and a wife. They're dating. So what's wrong with these other kids? What's wrong with this Cunningham? He was a tall, nice looking, well, not nice looking, but he looked all right. Smart. He's at Harvard, and wasn't nobody interested. He wasn't interested in nobody. No girls were like, I've seen, let me tell you something. Here in Washington, I've been at Safeway and in my city, and there'd be a tall black guy, not incredibly good looking, not wearing no cologne or nothing like that, not dressed outrageous, you know, not sagging his pants or nothing like that. Pretty average guy. And I've seen white girls get naked in the stove. I seen them get naked in the store, honey. Take them clothes off so she could show him what he could be laying up next to. And I just look at them and shake my head. And they just laugh. Honey, I have seen it many times. Many times. If I go to Safeway today, honey, and there's a semi-attractive looking tall black man, oh, honey, these women here are all over it. They all over it. Harvard? Come on now. Come on. Ain't no woman nowhere, a Harvard graduate, Harvard alumni, it ain't nobody checking for him. Nobody. His sister and his mama. What's wrong with this picture? You cannot tell me that something ain't wrong with that. You can't tell me that. Okay? That is ridiculous. It is. That's ridiculous. You can't tell me that something is wrong somewhere. It don't make sense. 1 + 1 = 2 all day. Y'all have to tell me. Is this where was he? Atlanta, working for the CDC, right? He don't come from public housing. He don't come from Section 8. He went to Harvard. What's the problem? There's no scientific formula to explain this. There's no algorithm. What happened to this young man that he would end up decomposed on the side of the Chattahoochee River? Since February the 12th, his body has been out in the elements. How long is that? February, March, all of March, half of February, and now we're a week into April. I gotta go get gas. Huh? Somebody tell me something. I don't understand it. Everybody, they're saying that the man drowned. They say, when I read this, I was like, you gotta be kidding me. It said, this grown man, 35 years old, educated at Harvard, working for the CDC, handling Zika virus and Ebola. And he's out in his favorite jogging suit after saying that he didn't feel well. He's out in his favorite jogging suit, and they found rocks in his pocket. Because, you know, he collects rocks. That's something that you would expect for a person that is a epidemiologist, educated at Harvard University. A Harvard man, oh my God. Yes. Out in his favorite jogging suit on a work night collecting rocks. And he ends up dead, having fallen into the Chattahoochee River. And they had looked along there in February, found nothing. So he was in the water, and then maybe the tide washed him up onto the bank or whatever, but really? I hate to say it, but I really think that there's some more to this story. And I don't know what it is, but I got a sneaky suspicion that there's a lesson in this here somewhere. Somewhere there is a lesson to be had in this. There's always a lesson to the story. What's the lesson? To me, if a kid that grew up in public housing has enough sense to marry a girl whose dad went to Fisk University, that couldn't have been easy. That couldn't have been easy. And he probably felt many times inadequate. He can't hold a candle to her dad, which, you know, as far as she was concerned, nobody could. I believe that's the reason why Jay let everybody know that he wasn't nothing but a hypocrite, cheating on Miss Tina and all that kind of tomfoolery that he was doing. Looks like Matthew was using his university education to run over Tina and disrespect his family, and Jay-Z put a light on that. So that's fine. Because as we can tell by Mr. Cunningham with his Harvard education, that doesn't mean that you're going to be a tip-top human being. You know? It is not a guarantee that you will make the right decisions. It puts you in association where you have a better chance at meeting some people who are good people for you to be around, people who are going to be successful, especially because that's what you are trying to be. Now, clearly, Dr. Cunningham had one portion of his life taken care of, and that is he knows how to take tests, he knows how to write, he knows how to do reports. He felt that he should get a promotion. He felt that he should get a promotion, but he wasn't even in a situation where or he didn't have the aptitude to do relationships well, you know? He didn't have the aptitude for relationships. So I don't know what this promotion was, but they probably needed someone who had some interpersonal skills, who had some, I mean, he could have business, business meetings at his house, business dinners, but he doesn't have a wife. It's just weird. You know how weird it is to go, I'll give you an example. My boss was with me for 2 days at work, right? 2 days. I'm at work with my boss. And you know what we talked about? I need to get gas. We talked about family, friends. She's a mom, I'm a mom. She talked about her parents, I talked about mine. She was saying, you know, she's married and everything. We're having a team meeting next week. Out of all the ladies on the team, I'm one of the only ones who is single. All the rest of the ladies are married. You know? And I know that with the type of work that I'm doing, I'll be able to be more flexible and versatile than the other ladies because, number one, I don't have small babies, and number two, I don't have a husband. So I'm more available to do a lot of stuff. But am I going to be hosting any dinners at my house? No. I'm single. I said the same thing about church. All that volunteering at church and going on. Child, ain't nobody got time for that. I'm single. I have responsibilities. Everything falls on me. He's sitting up there trying to be on the usher board and all that kind of stuff. Honey, please. No. If some man decides to wife me, then I'll modify my status and my situation and my activities. But until then, honey, child, no. No. And I know one thing that needs to change is I need to get out of this state, this liberal state. You know, a friend of mine named Pat, now she got married and she's 81. And she just got married to a gentleman in this state. But she's a very quiet person. I'm not that quiet. I talk a lot. You know, I'm used to lecturing and speaking my mind. So most people don't know that she isn't liberal, you know. And for the other people that I've noticed here in the state of Washington, they're very not open to diversity. For this to be a liberal state, they're not open to diversity. They like being around people that like what they like, think like they think, see like they see, talk like they talk, do what they do. And if you do something different or whatever, they're not with it. Now that's liberal? I don't know. Is it? I don't know. You tell me. I may have the wrong understanding. But, yeah. That's how they do liberal here in this state. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Public housing, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. There were some talk of getting rid of public housing here. Because, you know, we have budget issues. So, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. You know? I won't have to do public housing if you all would buy my books. If y'all would buy my books, that would be helpful. If somebody watching will book me for some presentations and pay me, that would be great. If someone would send a request for services to my administrative services company, that would be good. If somebody would donate to my nonprofit agency for Joseph, that would be good. You need me to come and speak to young people about choices. Who you choose to be friends with matters. How you can build relationships. Why it's important. The example of Dr. Cunningham. You need me to come and talk to your young people? I will do that. Let me know. I don't have a problem with that. I will come and speak. I will get a speaker's fee. I won't need to be on public housing myself. You know? And if I could get a public speaking gig, as well as sell my books, as well as get married, that would be absolutely perfect. That's the dream. That's the dream right there. That's what I'm praying for. And if he happens to be someone who also went to Harvard or Fisk or Princeton or... No, I'm not going to say that. I don't want anyone who went to the University of Houston, honey. Nope. Houston Baptist University? Maybe. But I don't think so. I had the opportunity to marry a boy from Houston Baptist University, and no. And that I would have been really, really tight had I had married somebody from my university and my kids still turned out to be stupid and still wanted to be around thugs and, you know, child. What's the point? What does it matter? I guess that's what I'm saying. It should matter, you know? You should be able to say, okay, if you have this, then you should get that. If you do this, then you should get that. You know? What's so hard about that? If-then statements, they're basic. And they should be foolproof. But you know what it is? It's the ingredients. If you're trying to make a cake with cornbread mix, even if you put in ingredients with the cornbread mix, the eggs, the butter, the sugar, it's still gonna be a sweet cornbread mix, right? It won't be cake, but it'll be sweet cornbread, right? But if you're trying to make cake or cornbread with sawdust as the main ingredient, well, all you're gonna have on your hands is a mess. And I really believe that that's what happened to me. That's what happened to me, you know. I got sawdust instead of cornbread mix or flour, or it is what it is, you know. I don't know how. I tried to have flour. I tried to make cake, didn't I? I tried to make cake. I didn't get cake. I did not get cake. What can you say? It is what it is. It is what it is. You do the best you can, and then you leave the rest of it. Just leave it. Leave that mess alone. Leave it where it is. Just nothing you can do about it. But for me, I wasted a lot of years. I wasted a lot of years for nothing. But heaven knows I tried. And that's all I can say. I think I left my money at home. It's in on my shelf. Let's see what I can do. Because I am so out of gas. I'm out. Let's see what I can do. I can walk over to the bank. But I don't even have my driver's license. I don't. I don't even think I have my old one. I have my ID. I might be able. I gotta reset my appointments. That's what happens when you get tired and just running. And I remember putting that money on the shelf. I do recall. Oh, I got enough change to do a little something. I still got my Queen Elizabeth coin. 1966, boo. You know, I always keep emergency cash. Because you'd never know. So, that's what I do. And lucky for me that I did. So I can hook up some stuff. Anyway, I'm not going to be able to make it back out to Kent. I don't think so tonight. I don't think so. And I still got to do laundry tomorrow. Tomorrow is Friday. Team meeting next week. And this weekend I got to work. I did not go and see Michael this week because I saw him last week. So I did see Tom and let him have it. God. Like I say, people gonna be people, you know? You just have to do what you can do. Everybody has their own life path. And sometimes you just gotta be like, all right, handle that. And you gotta go on with your life. That's what you gotta do. Because that's what you're responsible for. In the final analysis, you're not responsible for anybody else. Everybody has to render an account for themselves. You know? And I think with me, maybe the best thing is to, in my family, is to let the kids just raise themselves or whatever. Or just don't have no kids. I think in my bloodline, I just think that would be best. Because why do something? Why plant a seed if what grows from it is poison? Or, I mean, maybe I'm wrong about that. I mean, there is stinkweed in the world. You know, God made stinkweed. I'm sure that there's a purpose in it. I just don't know what it is. And just because I don't know what it is doesn't mean that it's wrong. It just means that I don't know. It's none of my business. If it was my business, then I would know. Right? Wouldn't I? I would know. If I don't know, it hasn't been revealed to me, it's because it's none of my business. That's what that means. It's none of my business. That's all. And even when it comes to my own kids, It's none of my business. So what I'm gonna do now is get off this live and mind my own business. I'm gonna get me some gas, get me some food, and you know, that is what 3, 4. So that's one appointment. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Okay, so I got that little bit of gas. So I'm gonna go over here and see if I can get me a salad. I love to have a taco salad, but I may not be able to do that. That might be too much. You don't know what it's like. You don't know what it's like to love somebody, to love somebody the way I love you. A chair is still a chair, even when there's no one sitting there. But a chair is not a house, and a house is not a home when there's no one there to hold you tight and no one there. You can kiss goodnight. Now and then I called your name, and suddenly your face appears. But it's just a crazy game when it ends in tears. Darling, have a heart. Don't let one mistake keep us apart. I'm not meant to live alone. Turn this house into a home. When I climb the stairs and turn the key, you'll always be there, still in love with me. Yes, still in love, so in love with me. Yeah. Get me a salad.